Mother of sweet Jesus, this episode of Demon Slayer was a slapper, so of course, we gotta break it down. From Muichiro's incredible developing character arc, to Genya revealing himself as Doom Guy, and of course, come on y'all, we gotta talk about everything else, because my eyes have been opened. So let me show you, viewer, Demon Slayer Season 3, Episode 3. Alright, so after destroying the head of Yoriichi Type 0 doll, Kotetsu and Tanjiro find within it an unassuming sword, and obviously the two freak out as Tanjiro begins to balance Kotetsu on his hands like that one episode of Gintama. If you get that reference, then drop a like for your pal, C-Tactics. So this leads to a rather humorous argument where Tanjiro and Kotetsu fight over who should wield it, as it's, over 300 years old and they don't want to break it or claim ownership over something with so much history, so they both together unsheath it. And what they find inside is a rusted and pitted blade, a damaged hilt, and a rotting grip. In tears, Tanjiro clearly is distraught over the shape of the blade it is in, lol. So, that's just our Tanjiro being just the bestest boy. Luckily for them, however, or maybe unluckily, from the woods, a ripped and jacked to the gills Hanagazuka comes out and, of course, looking to work on the sword. After all, he is a swordsmith. Though the two then just end up in a big fight where both Haganezuka and Tanjiro battle over it. And I must admit, even though Tanjiro at this point is insanely strong and agile too, I too would be afraid to even look at the direction of Haganezuka-san, let alone play tug of war with a 300-year-old rusted blade. And we see exactly why we do not challenge the smithing Hashira, which is what I'll be calling him from here on out, as he just swipes and takes it away, telling them both that their actions are not what adults do, which clearly makes sense given the context, because the smithing Hashira is clearly the in-control adult here, acting, of course, responsibly. So we should all act like him, act responsibly, and just subscribe to the C-Tactics, and as well, drop a like on the video. It's my weak point after all. Much like the smithing Hashira's sides, as Kanamori suddenly appears and exploits him like how Melania in Elden Ring exploits me, and simply just falls limp. Kanamori then sheds light on the smithing Hashira's state. Turns out he has been training in the mountains to make stronger swords so that Tanjiro wouldn't die. Of course, obviously this makes Tanjiro giggle like a schoolgirl, but is quickly brought back down because the reality is the smithing Hashira is not very well liked and lost a lot of his clients. He's bad simply with dealing with people, and it's also why he's probably not married, because what woman wouldn't love a roided up swordsmith who's a little awkward in just about every single thing he does? He's charming! Ladies, do please chime in, of course, and of course they do end up agreeing to him working on the blade. So I imagine this sword will play some sort of role later on in this big battle we just got into in this episode. Though later on, Tanjiro, still thinking Genya is his friend, recounts this to him, but Genya is just so freaking mad, he just yells at him, telling him he's not his friend and in fact a dumbass, which is a little accurate, let's be real. After all, Tanjiro did break his arm in Season 1. Though Tanjiro tries to explain it was all because he hit a girl, which is true and fair, he did hit that girl. He was kind of out of line there. He then notices his teeth and goes to give back his tooth, but Genya acts as if he was just seeing things. Eventually, he pushes Tanjiro out of the room, however, much to his dismay, as he wants to know why Genya is so mad at him. Because once again, Tanjiro's humble nature, always worrying for others, it's just so infectious and charming, is it not? Then later on at night, after Kanamori finishes bathing, he finds himself a mysterious pot. He is then promptly sucked into it, much like, actual pot in real life. Don't do drugs, kids. And then spits him back out. Seemingly, he was killed by Gyoko, which then allowed the other demons to find themselves a way into Swordsmith Village. All the while, everyone else is sleeping, which is funny, because Muichiro wakes up Tanjiro to ask if he knows where Kanamori is, and so he offers to help find him. Keep in mind, this is in the middle of the night. Tanjiro is seriously a good. This goodness, though, however, from Tanjiro breaks through to Muichiro, but they are then interrupted by Nezuko-chan. So this interaction is, to me, in my opinion, actually sort of hilarious, but also really good because Muichiro calls Nezuko basically a creature and can't place where, but knows he's met her before. Though the reason I really like this moment is because it showed another side of Muichiro's personality and even gives context to his previous behaviors in the last episodes and the initial episodes. He's basically a little bit of an airhead because he has a really simple nature. And honestly, in a weird way, it makes him really cute. Say in the same way I find Tanjiro or Nezuko cute. They're just pure boys and demons in their own unique ways. It also shows that Muichiro never meant any harm or malice towards Kotetsu or Tanjiro. It's just his nature, which may come off as abrasive to others, but still is something at the end of the day that doesn't make Muichiro a bad person, it just makes him complicated, which is funny because he's so simple when you go to actually break him down. Then, out of nowhere, an upper moon appears and seemingly in an instant, Muichiro uses Breath of Mist 4th form Advection Slash, which is a really cool name, to try and take out the demon, but it was so fast that it evaded his attack. And while the demon seemingly has a low self-esteem, Tanjiro quickly picks up that the demon must have killed a lot of people, as only demons with that quick of a reaction time would be able to even dodge a blow like that. So, in an amazing sequence by Ufotable, and this is really where all of the amazing sequences in this episode really start. Got to give a lot of props to the studio. Tanjiro uses his Hinokami Kagura to try and stab him, but once again, he is able to dodge it only for Nezuko to come in and actually land a blow. Though Tanjiro tells Nezuko to not transform here, which is actually really smart after all, because if you didn't know, this is a village of swordsmiths, probably with really good blades and sword skills, and they don't know about Nezuko's state or who she is or why she's there, so it's very smart for Tanjiro to say that. Muichiro, though, is able to take off the upper moon's head pretty much instantly, which is impressive. And even impressive to Tanjiro, but we have to also keep in mind, just in general, even though this demon has different abilities, demons at this point likely just don't die by just beheading them if they're upper moon. There's some sort of weakness beyond that. And just as Tanjiro tells him to not lose focus on that, from the severed head, a body grows and unleashes a powerful attack, nearly killing Tanjiro, if not for Nezuko saving him, which shows the brotherly and sisterly connection they have and how important Nezuko is. And it is then revealed that much like Yutaro and Daki, these demons are a pair. Sekido, the staff wielder, and Karaku, the fan wielder. And this is not the only demons we'll be get to knowing in this episode, but Sekido seems to really not like much of anything and is easily angered, hence the meaning of his name, which means extremely angry in Japanese, and Karaku, who is mostly relaxed, which basically is also what that means in Japanese. This leads to Sekido shocking Tanjiro, which causes him to lose consciousness, only for him to notice a figure on the roof. It's Genya with the super shotty from Doom! Genya takes aim, shoots off both the heads of Karaku and Sekido, much to Tanjiro's surprise, and much to my amazement. I love a good old double barrel, you know what I'm saying? A good old super shotty. I'm a big fan of Doom, by the way. And while I can't show this on YouTube, we do see Karaku's head is only hanging on by the flesh, and it looked absolutely grotesque. I sort of wish I can show you this, but at the same time, I'm just gonna leave it blurred. Genya goes in for the kill, but Tanjiro tries to warn him that he can't defeat them that way. Slicing them up only makes them split up to even more people, allowing them to heal and get even stronger. So the trick is to just not attack them at all, which is pretty overpowered. And while Tanjiro is trying to figure out its weak point, the other demon that was spawned from this attack, Kakaka, this is a weird name, who seems to be based on a bird of some kind, grabs onto Tanjiro while another, who clearly is a fan of Kuchulain, stabs Genya with a spear. So Tanjiro uses his Hinokami Kagura once more, only for the demon to scream at him of some kind and drop him as Tanjiro goes crashing down, and once again, like most arcs, Tanjiro is now pretty much decimated. Except this time, it actually happens immediately and not later in the fight, which does not spell good news for the Demon Slayers. This is when we switch to Morichiro, who sees a kid being attacked by a summoned demon. He initially ignores the boy, but remembers what Tanjiro said about helping others, and decides instead to save the boy. And what a great way to end the episode with some character growth. Morichiro is now so heroic for deciding to save this boy. But anyways, those were my full impressions of this episode. It was actually flippin' amazing. So if you haven't already, check out my other Demon Slayer content, all convenient for you in one playlist. I'll see you guys over there. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.